Welcome to episode 1 of This Podcast is Not About Fishing, where I'll be discussing many topics that relate to most of the people in my age range, mostly people in their 20s, things that cross our minds, and things maybe we aren't talking enough about. So, today the topic I want to discuss is friendships and outgrowing people. I'm sure we can all relate to this. In this weird phase of my life where I'm noticing I'm withdrawing from so many people, even more than before, and I think I'm not the only one who's going through this. I'm sure if you're watching this podcast or even listening on Spotify, you can relate to this. I'm sort of questioning whether or not I even like the people around me, or if I'm just better off alone. Do I even enjoy being around them, or does it just feel familiar? I'm so used to it, so maybe my brain is just like, oh, if this is what you're used to, this is what's best for you, and it doesn't want to try and maybe make new friends now. I feel like when you get older, it's very difficult to try and even begin making new friends. Where do you even meet people? Maybe the reluctance to make new friends forces us to stay with the friends we are familiar with because it feels safe, and trying to make new friends is actually quite scary. Every time I tried to hang out with these friends, it was so difficult to have a proper conversation about anything that I can actually relate to. And I think one of the main reasons I feel this way is because we're simply all in different phases of our lives. Let me break it down. Straight after university, some of my friends landed their first jobs, including myself. Some got married, some relocated to different countries on continents, some continued with their education, some moved into their first apartments, and some moved back in with their parents. And this is all normal. This happens to so many different people. So, all of these factors have inspired this feeling that's been on my mind for a while, that now life is taking us all in different directions. And that's okay. It's really hard to get together with your friends when you get older, when everyone is in different places. And after spending so much time alone, I've realized that you actually owe no one your time. I have more fun by myself than I would in a group or in a large group. Of course, it is nice to interact and talk to people sometimes, but overall, I'm okay with sort of being by myself. You owe no one an explanation as to why you can't be there or hang out the way you used to. You can just choose to distance yourself from them, and that can simply be how it is. Sometimes we feel guilty for outgrowing people, but it could actually be for the best. Maybe their lifestyle choices don't fully align with who you are trying to be now, but it sort of feels as though you're betraying those friends who you are outgrowing. But the reality may be that you were only meant to cross paths and not walk with one another in this journey of life. Sometimes in life, you just need to do what's best for you, and that can be perceived as being selfish by others around you. And we should be able to accept that and be okay with that. This is just the harsh reality of life, and we just need to accept that because we can't control how others perceive us. You can definitely try, but it's very exhausting. I have a question for you, and that question is, when you take a look at the people around you and you imagine your future, can you see them in it? For me personally, the list of people I can see still with me in my future is very short. As I'm getting older, I'm noticing a shift that whenever I'm around someone or people that I'm outgrowing, my spirit feels drained, and I feel the need to run away and distance myself. Immediately, actually, from everyone. I can't even fake it anymore. I simply just can't be around them. Isn't friendship supposed to be fulfilling? Or maybe that's just me putting my own expectations on what a friendship should be. Ideally, I feel as though a friendship shouldn't be draining. It should build me up. I shouldn't feel insecure in a friendship. A friendship shouldn't feel transactional. I think as a person, I find it difficult to just have a surface level friendship, but I do actually appreciate some of the surface level friendship that I actually do have because there's a sort of a mutual understanding of what the friendship is. My struggle starts when these surface level friends try to get closer to me, and maybe I already know that we won't really be a good match for each other as real friends, so I start avoiding them to sort of preserve the friendship the way it is. Perhaps this is selfish of me because maybe in their heads they actually believe that we are actual friends. I'm the kind of person who really enjoys a good conversation with my actual friends, and typically I can have that over the phone. I don't actually feel the need to see these friends in person all the time. So I tend to be comfortable with being alone in my places of peace. Such is where I am right now. For those watching the video version of this podcast, you can probably see where I am, and I like being here alone. I spend so much time here on my weekends, free time, just spending it by myself with my thoughts, listening to podcasts, and now I've started my own podcast because I also have things to say. I think after experiencing this quiet life and being more present in my thoughts, I reached a point where I simply cannot risk letting anyone in who could destroy my peace. I had an experience where, after being around people who aren't a good fit for me, I ended up feeling so drained and tired. It's almost like I'm in a haze where everything feels cloudy and I just feel lost. And my first thought was that I needed to leave immediately. So I packed up and left the very next day and came back here and I wrote down how I felt in my notes app. Now here we are. I think growing up, a lot of us used to envy the kind of big friend groups that we saw on TV, even in cartoons. I specifically remember a cartoon I used to love as a kid called 60, where this group of about 5 kids in high school would meet up at the mall and hang out. And they all had very different personalities from each other, but it still kind of worked, and I liked that. The younger version of me obviously wanted to experience that, and I think it sort of brainwashed me into thinking that having many friends was the goal. But in doing so, I think I ended up letting certain people into my life that didn't even deserve to be around me. At the same time, some of the friends I made along the way weren't all bad, so I can't fully say that I was completely wrong, because I did make some really great friends who are still my friends to this day. So I guess it's all about how you look at it. Going back to the topic of outgrowing people, I think we need to realize that not all of us want the same things in life. For example, I made the decision to move out of the city and live on a farm, and that is hands down a decision that I do not regret. A lot of my friends have asked me why I choose to live in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to do here. Well, there's plenty to do here if you know where to look and you know what interests you. I think to the normal person who's used to maybe being in the city where there's just so many activities to do, or city-based activities to do, like going out, clubbing, different restaurants, eating out, all those things, I guess, and of course seeing your friends. It would be kind of crazy why you choose to spend so much time alone and just move and be by yourself where no one actually knows you. I think when someone doesn't really understand the perks of this kind of a lifestyle, it's a waste of time to try and convince them why you enjoy it. Not everyone can like the same things. Just let that be. What I find fun, some others may find super boring. I'm just sitting here talking to myself, and I'm having so much fun right now. But to someone else, they might want to be at a party, and I get that. That's okay. That's fine. I remember I used to feel the need to tag along people from my past just because I refused to let them go. I'm here to remind you that you don't have to overcompensate to make your friends feel better, because a real friend would meet you halfway. What do I mean by this? Well, let's put it this way. I love when as friends we all get together and hang out or do an activity like going out together. But because of this, I ended up maybe inconveniencing myself by offering to maybe pick up all of my friends if others don't have access to a car, even if it's a complete inconvenience to myself, or paying the bill when there was actually no need for me to do so, just because someone was maybe, I felt bad because maybe someone doesn't have a job. So it's like, okay, maybe your funds, or maybe you aren't as flexible as I am. So let me just cover the bill. But the truth is, I don't actually think I needed to do that. You don't actually need to do that. That's not your problem or your responsibility. I don't think it's healthy to do that at all. I really had to come to terms with the fact that there is a difference between being lonely and being alone. If the people you keep around you are not positively impacting your life, then what's the point of keeping them around? I'm not going to sit here and act as though I'm a perfect friend myself, because I'm not. I also have my own flaws, and I'm also completely okay with the fact that someone could actually want to, or maybe outgrow me, and that's fine. There are some friends who genuinely care about me, and then there are some friends who only reach out and you could immediately tell they just want something from you. It's almost like a transactional friendship. You're honestly better off without them. The moment you start respecting yourself more, and you will immediately be unable to go back to being the person you used to be when you're with them. It's kind of like the version of you that they knew expired or died. And this is completely natural because you simply can't be the same person you were for your entire life. We grow and we change. I had this one friend in the early stages of our friendship who referred to me as a close friend, and immediately I felt uneasy about it. At that point, we had not reached a place, well, for me at least, to even consider them being a close friend of mine. Looking back, I think that was my subconscious telling me that this person was not someone I could be friends with long term. When I think about that friendship, it felt like this person always wanted things or favors from me. It was always about what I could give them or how I could help them. And that's when I realized maybe this is why they don't really have that many close friends, because of how they treat their friends. We need to actually start calling people what they are. Some people are just like acquaintances. Some are work associates. Some actually are just people we were just around because of our environment. Like, this could be people we were in the same class with at school. Or for those in uni, maybe you just shared a dorm room. And that is why you may have believed you are friends. But maybe in the real world, it doesn't work. Letting go of people you've known for a long time is not easy. And I think it's because in their minds, they believe they really know you. But I don't think they actually do. There are so many experiences that shape a human being, such as loss, that can really change a person. We can still look back and appreciate the memories we made with these people in that time of our lives, but we don't need to still be friends now. I know I mentioned there's no point in keeping friends who do not add value to you around, but it's not always the case because there are some friends who I have around me who I value greatly simply because of the joy they bring me. And even if you aren't at the same phase in our lives, I'm okay with that because they are just good people. They don't necessarily give me anything, and in return, they don't ask for anything from me either. And maybe this is actually what a true friend or what a real friendship should be. Good and genuine people are so rare these days. If you find them, then you should definitely keep them around.